This special coverage of Korea Blockchain Week is proudly brought to you by our conference sponsor, OKX.
After 3 years of COVID lockdowns, we're finally back in Asia. We're here in Seoul, in the crypto heart of Asia, and it's pouring with rain. It's flooding, akin to the crypto markets. We're here to look for cover. So join us on the floor at the Korea Blockchain Week. Let's do this.
That's right. If you caught the headlines, we suffered record-breaking rains, the most in 80 years, smack dab in the middle of Seoul. It put a dent in the festivities, but the conference goers were undeterred. Much like all of us DJs, forging ahead in the crypto markets. Just look around. Top attendees from all over the world flooded in no matter what. South Korea has long been a key barometer in crypto, and this conference proved again how critical it is. All the protocols, builders, VCs, and market movers in attendance. You had Vitalik in person, CZ from Binance and Sandeep from Polygon patching in. There were also the up-and-comers like Nia, AVAX, Cosmos, and Solana making waves. All things gaming, NFTs and metaverse were here in full force, from Animoca brands to Hashed and even the Korean Klaytn. We'll first talk protocols and projects to see who's building what, then to funds and VCs to see where they're placing their bets. Remember Banter fam, we've been at this for 5 years now. Our crew started covering crypto hardcore in 2017, the first broadcast show in the world. And we were the first Western outlet to properly cover Korea in a seminal show showing everything from new L1s to underground trading houses. And now it's our 5th trip to Korea. No other outlet in crypto has made the tracks we have. We've gone in depth across the United States, New York City, Silicon Valley, Los Angeles, Miami, and across Asia from here to Singapore, Taiwan, Hong Kong, even Israel, India and Dubai, to Europe in Berlin and Prague. We've had the biggest guests in the industry, and among them of course, Vitalik. We were here in 2019 when he opened the same conference, and I sat down with him to pick his brain right here on the stage. What keeps you going? What is it that drives Vitalik? Is it to keep developing new cool shit and to make the protocol to be much more efficient? Or is there a bigger purpose when you wake up in the morning?
It's some of both. I mean, I definitely think that blockchains are new cool shit, and I hope that they become continue to become even cooler. But also, I believe in the promise of the decentralized economy.
From Vitalik then to Vitalik now. He returned to the very stage we sat on to fill us all in on the much talked about ETH merge.
So the merge is coming soon. The merge is the largest upgrade that Ethereum has had probably in its entire history. So this is the final step of Ethereum's switch from proof of work to proof of stake. This is a transition that we have been working on almost since the beginning. So thinking about proof of stake started for us even at the beginning of 2014. So the merge is a very major step, right? But it's only one of the really big steps that the Ethereum ecosystem is taking over the next few years. After the merge is finished, the largest focus for Ethereum core development is going to be scalability, right? And so Ethereum has, for the last 2 years, I've been following this roll-up focus, this layer 2 focus, scalability strategy, where there's a layer 1, which is the Ethereum base layer, and then there are layer 2 projects. So projects like Optimism, Arbitrum, Starknet, zk-Sync, Polygon Hermes, and Blueprint, Scroll, this Fuel, this big long list of projects, which are layer 2 scaling solutions that sit on top of layer 1. They get their security from Ethereum's layer 1, but they have their own features and they add a lot more scalability on top.
From Vitalik, we go to the L2 that emerged, Polygon. Now we first met Sandeep and his team prior to their launch in India in 2018, then again at ETH DevCon in Osaka in 2019. Now just look how far they've come. Polygon's stated mission? Become the AWS of blockchains. And from the stage, we sat down with their VP of Global Enterprise to discuss just how far they've come and how they've partnered with the likes of Disney and more.
In your mind, someone who's so close to the Matic ecosystem, what are the biggest things that have happened?
Yeah, so I will cut that question in two layers. On tech side, what Vitalik talked about, ZK rollups. So we have always been very focused on ZK rollup. We have 3 ZK rollup solutions. We launched ZK EVM recently. Then Maiden and Zero is in the build phase, going to come soon, really soon. Then we are working on Polygon Avail, Polygon Nightfall, which is going to be something to watch out for. Then on the partnership side, we have been speaking with the biggest of the biggest brands. The Coca-Cola just launched an NFT. HTC launched a phone which supports Polygon natively. Nothing is launching a phone which natively supports Polygon. Then we got into Disney Accelerator, which is pretty exciting. Then we launched a partnership with Meta. Meta is now testing Polygon for digital collectibles. For Instagram, we also integrated with Stripe for enabling payments. So this is on the customer customer focused brand side. A lot of exciting stuff coming on both on the technology side and partnership side.
Sounds like the future's seriously bright for you guys, eh?
Absolutely. So we have always been really focused on enabling builders, and I think these are the builders who are building some amazing stuff on Polygon and enabling this adoption of Web3. Yeah.
From one set of L1 builders to another, Solana was here rolling out a suite of new projects, including a DEX, whose giveaway stretched lines across the conference. Much more from them from their Breakpoint conference in Lisbon this fall. Also here was the founder of Aptos, the incoming layer 1 that everyone's talking about. But let's dig deeper into the likes of Near Protocol, that were here announcing that they're coding the path to bring JavaScript developers directly into Near, and featuring Aurora that's bringing EVM into Near. Huge developments that we talked about with its founder, Ilya.
Alrighty, so we've been talking about Near Protocol for a long time. You know it's one of my biggest bags. I don't have to tell you that. So yesterday when I saw Ilya, the founder, hailing a cab, I thought, hold on, whoa. I'm going to grab him there, and I'm going to bring him and going to do an interview with him. And then he can go and grab his cab. So Ilya, welcome to Cryptoman Banter, my friend.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's crazy how I saw you with a cab. I was like, whoa, I have to do an interview with you. So listen, we're big fans of Near. We've been investing in the ecosystem for a long time already. But I think I wanted to understand from you, when you decided to create Near, what was the need? Why did you decide to create Near?
Our focus mainly from the start have been like, how do we make this simple? How do we make this really easy to use, really easy to build on, and like through that, it should be scalable, it should be secure, it should be kind of, manifesting all these properties through the lens of usability.
So how did you make it so simple, so secure, and so easy? What's the trick? What's the magic sauce?
The usual way is doing it, well, you take what Ethereum did and you use like a hash of a public key.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's not usable. Like, let's think, instead of thinking from like what we can build with technology, let's think from a user flow. Like, I'm a new user, I want to onboard, I want to join, I want to use an app, right? Like, how do we make it so easy, so straightforward? What do we need to do? What are the things that you surface to the user, like their account name? They have maybe multiple devices. They have, okay, well, each device securely should have different keys. Like, you should not be passing key, like I've seen people sending the key to themselves via Telegram or via email or via whatever, right? Not secure. So like multiple keys. Now, you want to give permissions to specific front ends. You want to, your game, you don't want to go and sign every transaction like every time you like attack someone or switch the sword you want to use. Again, so this front end should have specific key linked to only this game, only being able to send transactions like this. So kind of every decision, right, like evaluated, like, will this be easier to use? Will this be easier to build on?
So fast forward a couple of years, you've now built the protocol. You're having your first DevCon in a few weeks in September.
Yeah.
What have you guys built? How far are you guys now, and what are you looking forward to in the future?
For sure, yeah. So we have the kind of the basic infrastructure, right? The protocol is there, it runs, it is sharded, it actually delivers on capabilities. It is very easy to develop on, and actually today we're launching, which is August 8th, we're launching the JavaScript support. So you can actually build smart contracts with JavaScript, and JavaScript is a language that 20 million people know.
That's huge. I mean, that opens up to a whole lot of developers.
Yeah, it opens up amazing amount of developers, which also means for entrepreneurs, it means that like talent is cheaper and easier to acquire. Like, finding Rust developers are hard. Right, finding Solidity developers is hard. Finding JavaScript, they're there, they're abandoned, they're interested in learning new stuff.
So you're actually writing smart contracts in JavaScript?
In JavaScript, yeah, and just ship them to Near.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, this is live today, August 8th.
That's huge.
And
that
yeah,
is
it's
huge.
amazing. It's amazing. I'm super excited.
There are a lot of applications being built either on Aurora or on Near.
Yeah.
Tell me about some of the ones that you're excited about. Some of the ones that will bring adoption, real
Exactly,
usage,
yeah.
easy usage.
Yeah. So I think the main one to call out is Sweatcoin. So Sweatcoin is movement to earn. They have 100 million installs across their mobile apps.
Yeah.
And they already onboarded about 10 million users on Near. So they created wallets through this simple experience through Sweatcoin app. Now the other one is really cool is Orderly. Orderly is a order book DEX that has kind of the order book parameters as the same as centralized exchange, but it's non-custodial. So you, when you're trading, you're not giving up your money to an exchange, it's still yours. You have a 1 second settlement to the layer 1, to blockchain, but you still have millisecond trade time, you have free...
And the only reason you can do that is because your transaction times are so fast and
transaction
it's so cheap.
times are so fast, it's so cheap, and some other parameters of the network that you can actually do this like very efficiently. And like some of the developer tooling we have for like indexing data and like streaming data.
Amazing. All right, listen, so DevCon first, NearCon is coming up.
It's NearCon beta, so it's actually, we had one last year, it was small kind of community, now this one is big, we have like 2,000, 2,500 people joining on in Lisbon, September 11 to 14, everybody's invited. In Lisbon, it's on the river. It's amazing.
Okay, so listen, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get 10 tickets to give away to the community. Stay tuned, because I'm going to push him on the side here. I'm going to get you guys the tickets. Ilya, thank you, my brother.
All right, thank you.
Good to meet you. Good to see you.
Yeah.
That's right, ticket giveaways coming soon for NearCon in September. Stay tuned. From one burgeoning ecosystem to another, AVAX took the stage, onboarding builders. We're in a Cambrian moment, says its COO.
You got the merge coming up, and when ETH merges, and maybe if all goes according to plan with Ethereum, in 2 years, Ethereum will be able to do 100,000 transactions per second with all the other things. Where does that leave a chain like AVAX?
Yes.
With AVAX is an EVM compatible chain. That's why it's been so attractive for devs. What happens after the merge? And if the merge is successful, and if everything works?
So, I mean, Ethereum says at 100,000. I mean, those numbers are made up. By the time that Ethereum gets to the point of reaching those numbers, I think Avalanche will already be ahead of it in numbers. I mean, the pipeline for development over the next 3 years is just insane. Yeah, I mean, as far as like ultimately what matters is just making the most reliable system that people feel it's just super fast, super cheap. You don't ever have to think about it. Ethereum is going to find out that being in this new regime is a very different game.
Tell us a little bit about what's happening on the Avalanche side. What can we look forward to?
I mean, there's just so much development without like getting too nerdy and just going full-blown nerd out here. It's development across the stack. We're talking about deep tech development in networking, in the consensus layer, in the storage layer, so the complete revamp of the database system. We're talking about a revamp of the Ethereum virtual machine completely. So that's a nice, incredible area of optimization that people don't even realize it's there. Like you can probably squeeze 100 to 1,000x more performance with the same capacity of storage growth, completely re-engineering the Ethereum virtual machine. Completely. So just off the box right there. So that's that, and then we're talking about engineering in various different, like more esoteric type of things that really developers love. New virtual machines, plug and play virtual machines like Move, just bring them in as like a Move subnet. These kinds of things are going to be incredible for developers.
Subnets on AVAX, very interesting. Also expanding, Crypto.com and their build out on Cosmos with Cronos, an interoperable blockchain with ETH.
What's the biggest used DApp on Cronos?
So our biggest DEX is called VVS Finance. It's very similar to PancakeSwap, where a lot of the retail users actually enter Web3 through VVS. This is the first DEX that they experience. So it gives you a very blazing fast experience on swapping, staking, farming, and then we have a stable swap protocol called Pharaoh, which in this market condition gives you great yield to stake your stable coins. And then we also have a borrow lending protocol called Tectonic, which you can supply your tokens, earn some interest and some token rewards, and it's basically very low risk, right? And there's a lot of gaming projects that launch on Cronos as well. But we see ourselves as the stepping stones to onboard the newbies, the retail user onto this non-custodial Web3 future.
Okay, and is that, I mean, I'm assuming if you're saying all of this, that Cronos is actually built on Cosmos,
Yes.
on IBC. So you can, you're not using bridges as such, you're using IBC, right?
So in terms of cross-chain, there are several aspects, right? One is what you mentioned, IBC. So IBC is the cross-chain messaging protocol among all the Cosmos chains.
Yeah.
So we enabled that from day one. So for example, Cronos chain has IBCs with the Cosmos Hub, previously with Terra, with Akash, with
All the Cosmos native
exactly.
dApps, yeah.
And then on the EVM front, we're also having various bridges with other EVM ecosystem, with Ethereum through our Gravity Bridge, with like Avalanche, with Polygon, etc., with third-party bridge solutions, right? And they support, I think, like 7 or 8 different chains for major assets. So as a retail user, I actually feel safe like using
sure.
that. Yeah.
So we met a long time ago, and you used to work for Stellar Lumens.
Yes.
And now you're working at Cronos.
Yes.
Which one's more fun?
I think right now it's more fun.
Good answer, good answer. Thank you so much.
Good answer. And a good bridge to an up-and-coming project, in fact, built on Cosmos. Archway is a blockchain that allows easy development of smart contracts on Cosmos. But there's also a twist.
All right, so, I mean, let's talk about the main topic that I want to talk to you about, and that's Cosmos.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fast becoming the preferred ecosystem, so to speak. With all these bridge hacks and everything that's going on around us, people are now realizing that we're going to live in a multi-chain world. How do you see it? Do you see the same thing? Do you see that as the premier blockchain in the future?
Yeah, I see it. I see it as one of the premier ecosystems, just because the technical team has been working on the tech for a very long time, for many years. And inside it allows you to basically customize and build your own app-specific chain with native bridges like the IBC protocol that comes just right out of the box.
All right, tell us about Archway. What is Archway?
So right now, Cosmos has this vision of app-specific chains, and we think that's like a really strong value proposition. But oftentimes, entrants into the ecosystem don't really have the resources to go build their own custom blockchain. So what they're really looking for is a place to build a dApp, quickly get their protocol out the door, their dApp out the door, and access all the other assets and liquidity throughout the Cosmos ecosystem. There's a lot of value that's locked up across all the IBC-based bridges, and if you come in, you can access and tap all that liquidity. So Archway is a layer 1 smart contracting chain for dApp developers that want to quickly just build a dApp in the Cosmos ecosystem.
Okay, and how does the new economic model work?
Yeah, what we're doing is, instead of all the inflation going to the validators or the miners, what we do is we actually share a percentage of the inflation with the dApp developers building on top. We rebate some of the gas fees instead of burning them, like an EIP 1559, and we also have like extra fees or contract premiums that can be also shared. And all those rewards get compiled up based on the amount of transactions and usage on your dApp, and it gets directed to a contract address that you suggest on deployment. So what the Archway protocol is trying to do is say, instead of taking and only rewarding the largest whales, why don't we give back to the dApp developer so that a developer that comes 5 or 10 years down the road will also receive some value. And I think it's important because we see a lot of layer 1s write and give a lot of grant money and try to incentivize the dApps to come into their ecosystem, but it's not sustaining. It doesn't last long term. We're more focused on building long-term sustainable dApps and create a sustainable model for their dApp that they can then use for whatever they want to do.
So from the protocols, let's move on to the metaverse and beyond. But let's talk Korean metaverse, and that's aiming to be built on Klaytn, the zero latency blockchain incubated by South Korea's Kakao, with a major presence here in Seoul.
Here in Korea, Klaytn's all the buzz.
Right, yeah.
What is Klaytn?
So let me introduce briefly about Klaytn. So our mainnet has been running for more than 3 years, and now is kind of the most dominant and mostly used blockchain platform in South Korea. But as a public blockchain, in terms of technology, it's an EVM compatible chain. Also, it has using PBFT as a consensus algorithm. Yeah.
Okay, so it's a public blockchain. It's how quick is it? What kind of consensus mechanism does it use?
So the Klaytn is using PBFT, consensus algorithm, and it's different from POW or POS. It's like a voting-based mechanism. So because of that, this kind of simple algorithm is fast and is cheap, and it can, operate very quickly. Yeah.
When you say fast and cheap, how fast, how cheap? Relative to Solana, for example?
So that's a good question. So our block generation time in Klaytn is 1 second, but it also has immediate finality.
What kind of applications are there that are being built on the chain? What are the applications that are being the most used?
So recently we have been focusing on metaverse and game projects. So lots of games, including the Marvelx platform, and we made Remix and so on. Those are built on top of Klaytn, and they are launching so many games, P2E games or some games you have using NFTs. But apart from these games, we also have lots of DeFi projects and NFT projects. And actually the OpenSea is already integrated Klaytn, and Klaytn's NFTs can be traded on OpenSea.
Now, one of the founders, originators of Klaytn was the Kakao team, right?
Right. So the KakaoTalk has already integrated crypto wallet. It's a Clip wallet inside KakaoTalk. So KakaoTalk users can use this crypto wallet to transfer cryptos to your friend and to your family.
On the chat?
Yes.
Wow, amazing.
Built-in wallet users. Just think about that. That's huge. And the biggest in gaming and all things Web3 is Animoca brands. This is a huge get to be able to talk with Yatsu straight off the stage.
All right, so what's the barrier between where we are today and to get to a world where we're in control of our own data and using a Web3 version of Facebook or Instagram?
Well, I think the biggest barrier is we need to have more users into the Web3 space. And to me, this is actually going to happen much sooner than people think. Our projection is that in the next 12 to 18 months, we're going to have 300 million people that are basically entering through mostly blockchain gaming, we believe, into the Web3 space, which means that a wave of people are coming in understanding what digital property is and what the value is. And so they will be demanding a service where their time and attention is fairly valued because they'll understand it. In the same way that someone who's currently owning NFTs on MetaMask, as clumsy as that may be, has an absolute rejection on the ideals of what Meta is doing.
Hold on, you said 300 million people in 12 to 18 months.
Yes.
If I remember correctly, there were 260 million blockchain wallets the last time there was a report. So you're saying that that number is going to double?
So our perspective is that we're closer to about 80 to 100 million actual DeFi users, maybe even less, right? And the people who actually own NFTs is perhaps even a lower number from that. So when I say 300 million people, I actually mean 300 million people who have NFTs, right? And who are actually engaged, whether it's through blockchain gaming, through art, or these other activities. That's what we think will happen very quickly because of blockchain gaming and the adoption that will take place.
All right, where are the users going to be coming from? Is it users from the West? Is it users from Asia? Is it users from Africa?
So we think the majority of our users in the beginning will come from places like Asia. And we have similar trends to map out when you take a look at, for instance, what happened with free-to-play. Free-to-play gaming emerged much faster in Asia. You also have better infrastructure. You've got broadband, you've got great mobile adoption, so it makes sense for these markets. So we see that adoption happening. But then the West will quickly catch up, as they have done with mobile gaming. But one area that is also developing quickly is, of course, places like Africa, the Middle East, what you've seen in the Philippines. They're also adopting it, but they're coming from a different angle because they can actually profit from that experience.
How does this feel different from 2018? Because,
yes.
I mean, we've been through long bear markets. This is I'm now in my third bear market. 2018 felt a lot more brutal.
So one major difference is the number of builders that we see, for sure, right? And we're at Korea Blockchain Week. You see at the conference right now. I mean, this is a country that really reeled, arguably, from Terra in the most devastating manner. And when you're here, you don't feel it. Everyone's excited. Maybe they have a little less money in their pocket, but they're excited about the future. They want to build this.
Optimistic.
Right? They're optimistic and they have hope, which is a really, really important thing. The other thing that we believe is because of the cycle of technology, the cycle of the sort of downturn and upturns, those market trends, are going to be much faster as well. So I'm not sure if I said it on your podcast, but I said it somewhere else. I said that we think that these cycles are 3 to 6 months now. They're not 1 or 2 years. Because of the way that things happen. In other words, we've already gone through 3 or 4 cycles in the last year or so. It just happened so fast that we didn't see it, but we think of it as a cycle. I think we're going through that same cycle as well. We had a cycle that lasted for about 3 months that went ultra shock, and we seem to be at another set of another type of cycle. Where it ends off, I don't know, but the point being is that we should continue to see hyper rapid development because of the state in which we're more connected at.
Great to see Yat. And also great to see is one of our sponsors, Unix Gaming.
So here I am walking through the halls here in Korea, and I bump into one of our sponsors, the guys from Unix Gaming. Welcome, my friend. How are you?
How you doing, Ran? Nice to see you.
So good to see you. Bull market, bear market, you guys are building. You don't care.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. We're here to build, and we'll be on the other side.
As a builder, do you feel a bear market, or do you just keep your head down and you...
I mean, it'd be a lie to say we don't feel the bear market, but it doesn't affect us. We know where we're going. We have our runway. We have our roadmap. So in a way, there's some good sides that we'll just keep building and we can concentrate.
So a lot of people don't really understand Unix Gaming.
Yeah.
It's not one of the big brands out there, so to speak, when you compare it to Animoca and all those guys. Here's your chance. Tell us what you guys are doing.
So this is the chance. So what we are is, there's two ways to think about us. So we are a complete Web3 gaming ecosystem, and also we want to be a bridge between Web2 to Web3. So when we say Web3 gaming ecosystem, that means, right, we have our player base, sure. We have a game studio, we're building on the sandbox. We have our moving into esports, and we're also now moving into, which is our main business, going to be the owned marketplace. So we're building the very first game-specific multi-chain marketplace. Last but not least, we're building an SDK, which means that any Web2 game or any Web3 game can one day plug into our SDK and mint their in-game assets, mint their currency, and join the blockchain.
So I build the game, forget about blockchain, don't really care, just build a game.
Build the game. Look, nobody.
And you'll connect me to the blockchain for all the stuff that I need to do to a blockchain.
For all the stuff you need to do, plus we'll even have a template builder where you can build your own marketplace.
Thank you, my friend, and thank you for all the love that you give us on the channel.
Always. We're always big fans of the Cryptoman Ran family.
Part of the Banter fan, part of the Banter fan.
From one sponsor to another, remember that our coverage of Korea Blockchain Week is brought to you by OKX. If you're looking for an exchange with low trading fees, strong liquidity, great staking options, and great sign-up bonuses, well, click on the link below and sign up to OKX. OKX, better future. Game on. If you're enjoying this coverage, smash the like, subscribe to this channel. New videos every single day right here on Crypto Banter. We're back at Korea Blockchain Week. It's our first time back to Asia since the pandemic, and so good to be here amongst the many big names and industry leaders. That's the magic of these conferences. This one was brought to you by FactBlock, Hashed, and Rock Capital. They all bring us together to get first-hand insight of how this industry is really moving in real time right here in Asia. And if you want real-time market insight, well, here we go.
So we always say to you guys that if you want to make sense of what's going on and you want to see the future, you got to look at the data. Without data, you got nothing. But sometimes you look at the data and you don't know what to do with it. You don't know what it's actually telling you. And that's where this guy comes in, because he's the founder of Nansen. Alex, welcome, my friend.
Thank you very much. Nice to be here.
Can you see the future using data? Yes or no?
I would say occasionally, yes.
What are you looking for? What are you looking for?
So I think the unique thing about blockchains is that you have all this transparency, right? But it's really hard to surface the signal in all of this information. So that's what we try to do with Nansen, where you can really get the trends at the high level and you can keep digging deeper until you get an individual transaction or an address that you can find some alpha from somehow.
So give me an idea of how you see a trend going forward. So what are you looking for? What does it show you? And how do you use that data?
Yeah, so I think when people think about data, often they just think of charts, right? With Nansen, it's not just about metrics, it's also about alerts. And the one example I like to give is, I met with a customer of ours a few months ago, and they told us how they had used Nansen smart alerts to basically set up notifications for the curve pools for UST. And so when they saw that liquidity was moving out of the curve pools, they were able to pull their own funds before the great depegging happened. Another example was when you could pick up a certain VC fund that invested in a small token, and you could see it in the on-chain data, and they only announced it 1 week later. And so a couple of people ended up buying that token that they bought, and then on the announcement, it ended up pumping. So,
how does the platform cater for someone like me? I mean, is there a news feed? Is there a something to help me? Because otherwise, I just see a lot of data, and I'm like, well, great. Just don't know what to do with it.
Yeah. And so if you use NFT Paradise, that shows you the most traded NFT collections across all the big marketplaces. And you can also see how many different addresses are buying them, how many smart money addresses are buying the different NFT collections. And similarly with tokens and DeFi protocols, you can see what are the hot contracts where you see smart money addresses depositing funds into.
Okay, so listen, usually I don't let people show their platform on the show. But I love your platform, and I love the fact that it's all about data. So if our viewers want to get involved, where do they go and how much is it going to cost them?
Yeah, you go to Nansen.ai. You can try the standard version of the product for $9 for 1 week. You can also use a Nansen Lite, which is a free version of the product. If you want to sign up for a standard plan, it's $149 a month. Yeah. And if you sign up for a yearly plan, it's a bit cheaper.
Amazing. Look, so as I said, I don't usually let people shill their products and tokens on my show, but this is pure data. And if you're making decisions without data, you're basically on a suicide mission. So yeah, go check it out, go check it out, go check it out.
Now, no shilling here from Republic's Andrew Durgee. What he brings is alpha and incredible historical insight.
All right, so I warned the next guest that you guys are a bunch of degens, and all you want to do is degen. So we're going to skip the small talk, and we're going to start degening. You cool for that?
Let's hit it.
Oh, welcome to the show. Welcome to Banter.
Happy to be here.
Great. So, in the spirit of degening, I want to know about the narratives that you're looking at now. When you look at the market now, as an investor in the space, you guys are making a lot of investments. We see you on all the VC investments. What are the specific narratives that you're looking at?
Yeah. First off, I'm not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice.
Nothing on the show is financial advice, believe me. Believe me.
But we're big infrastructure people, right? My whole talk was about we're just not at the adoption layer yet. We have a lot of pipes and roads and airports that we need to build to get there. It's not ready for the commercialization. We see all these bridges get hacked constantly, people are losing all this money. So we're trying to get people to stay focused on building the frameworks that will allow us to accelerate this thing further.
So do you think that the space is running away by building the dApps so quickly? Do you think that guys that are investing in dApps are doing it a little bit prematurely?
It takes about 25 to 30 years for human beings to adapt to a new technology framework. So radio was created in 1890, 1920 was in people's houses. Television 1927, 1955 was in people's houses. Email was 1969, you got your email address in 1997, right? Internet was 1970, internet, 1995.
And you don't think that because we have the internet now, the adoption cycle is going to become smaller and smaller and smaller?
So yes, can you speed it up maybe 5 years? Yeah, probably. Things like open source communities, globalization, the fact that all coding languages are in English, that allows people to speed it up, but it doesn't change the human condition. It's a generational problem. 13-year-olds have only existed in a world where Bitcoin has existed. In 3 years, 16-year-olds will have only existed in a world where Bitcoin's existed. That's the adoption layer.
So how many years are we in already? Are we in from the day Satoshi wrote the white paper?
Yeah, we're 13 years deep.
We're 13 years deep.
Yeah.
So according to your theory, in 12 years, we would have hit mass adoption, give or take.
Yeah, and but I think you can speed it up. Maybe it ends up being 20. I think 7 years, probably find yourself in more so that mass adoption because of all the other frameworks that we have in place. Internet was invented in 1970. In 1983, TCP/IP became the standard protocol for the internet. 13 years later, right? We're 13 years deep in Bitcoin right now, in digital currencies, and we're starting to do standardization now, just like we saw with TCP/IP. It's almost in direct parallel.
Best layer one other than Bitcoin and Ethereum, where do you put your money?
I would say the the subnets on Avalanche and the supernets on Polygon have really interesting long-term repercussions. It's like that area is just starting to develop, and that's an area where I'd spend some time looking.
And why would you be looking at Avalanche? And the reason why I say that is we're bullish on Avalanche.
Yeah.
But if ETH merge happens and ETH 2.0 happens 2 years from now,
sure.
Is there a need for another EVM compatible chain? I mean, do we need it?
The reality is there's no chain, ETH 2, 3, ETH 4, cannot handle global transactional volume. It just isn't possible. You take all the existing chains, they can't handle all the global. So we believe in a multi-chain future, and certain chains have certain feature sets that are just better for certain things.
Amazing. Listen, thank you so much, my friend. Nice to see you.
Thanks.
From one fund expert, let's talk to the smart money.
So I'm going to introduce you to someone who used to co-host shows with me back in the CNBC days. We did shows in Hong Kong, in Taiwan, in Singapore, and even in San Fran. And today she's this big fund manager. So her name is Ciara. How much did you raise?
We raised
$150 million.
Yeah.
All right, so tell me about the narratives that you're investing in now. So what are you looking at?
Yeah, so we are chain agnostic to begin with, and we think the future is all going to be cross-chain, multi-chain. So we are investing into like infrastructures around that, like ZK, cross-chain, multi-chain, like liquidity solutions and all that. Also, we think in the future, the next bull market is going to come with more Web2 users to bridge into Web3, right? So you need good infrastructure and also application layer. So I think gaming is a very good sector that can actually bridge more users from Web2 to Web3. Like I have to say, Gala games, right? So we invest in them while I was at Huobi, we listed them, and now they're also investing back into my fund as my co-GP for gaming. And they're launching a game called Grid, and it's going to be co-launched with Epic Games Store. So, that's like 200 million users.
What about the bridges? So the problem with the bridges is all the hacks this year have been bridges, right? Ronin, Nomad, Wormhole, all of them have been bridges.
That's why we're like very bullish about ZK, zero knowledge proof. And I think ZK is probably going to be the solution, but we'll see, right?
So if you're investing in ZK, it's quite a broad category. Specifically, what are you investing in?
So we did ZK Link. It's kind of like a trading infrastructure. And we're also looking at other kind of ZK like DID with KYC, security kind of solutions. And also other ZK EVM and rollups.
As an investor, have you taken your foot off the accelerator? Or are you putting your foot further down and investing much more aggressively now?
I'd say we have been deploying about the same rate. We didn't really slow down.
Yeah, and all the hot air projects, all the hype is out. So I think you kind of know what you're buying, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Listen, it's been amazing to see you again. I haven't seen you for a few years. We used to co-host shows together.
Yeah.
Nice to see you again.
Yeah, nice seeing you.
Another reunion here at Korea Blockchain Week.
And now sending it over to Laura, who's our Crypto Banter contributor, walking the floors here at the conference.
Hello, I'm Laura with Crypto Banter, guest contributor. We're here at Korea Blockchain Week. Let's see what people have to say. Follow me. Oh, hello, David. So tell me, what do you think about Korea Blockchain Week so far?
I think there's just a lot of optimism from just seeing the crowd being as vibrant as they are. But yeah, I mean, obviously we're still very much in a bear market as it currently stands, but definitely see a bright future ahead for this market, particularly in Korea.
Any particular thing about Hash you want to share with the audience?
We are fully, going on and launching our on-open studio. So now we have more than 100 people based in on-open studio building games, MMORPGs, applications. So we're pretty excited to continue to be also ecosystem builder, but also build our own projects within this ecosystem. Yeah.
How does this make you feel about the market?
Korea in general has been a great market for gaming as such, and now I guess that's spreading to broader Asia, which is Southeast Asia and India. So we are pretty bullish on Korea. This is the place where the best games come from.
I don't feel it's bear market right now, Doesn't look like bear market. Everyone is building.
Interesting. That's very good to hear. What about you? What do you think?
I'm surprised from the level of the teams on the hackathons and the level of the speakers here.
All right, moving inside the conference space. All right, so here we have Cronos, Hedera L1, we have Changer, followed by Stella Fantasy, AI Network, Ergo Layer 1.5, Bora, 1inch on the other side here, L-Bank, Connect, Market Across, Extraordinary Whales Club. How do you feel about Korea Blockchain Week?
Yeah, I think it's really good. It's nice to see all these people together in this one place doing sort of metaverse stuff. Not so much of a focus on DeFi, which is my personal interest. I'm still fairly confident the crypto market is going to rebound in some respect. Maybe not prices, but certainly adoption and usage.
And what were you expecting to get out of the conference?
And I think there's enough of a critical mass of people now attending these events more and more that it shows that this thing actually has a lot of legs despite whatever is happening with the markets.
Well, we as Vita company, we're here, we're just looking for new projects for rising startups.
Yeah, time to build. Well, thank you very much for your time. That's it from Korea Blockchain Week. We are Crypto Banter, and my name is Laura Biriela. We'll see you in the next conference.
And that's a wrap from the conference floor and braving the rains outside. Despite the flooding, we hit the streets of Seoul, as every chain and fund was here working. We went to Hashed Unopened Gaming and Metaverse Fund debut, bringing Web3 to gaming and entertainment big time. I talked to Simon Kim, a longtime friend and the founder of Hashed. I was blown away by what's coming, including their unopened pass. Plus K-pop, with an exclusive build-out of an all-girl group.
We are very excited to be here at the Korea Blockchain Week. Thank you so much for having us. Thank you.
The next day, we went by the adoption, headlined by major institutional VCs and funds. Our Laura Vidilia leading a panel with FTX and Rock Capital.
Whereas now we actually have applications.
Finally, we hit the Avalanche Hacks event to get a sense of everything that they're building. Incredible. And more incredible, the sense that this build phase is well underway. Not just here in Seoul, but worldwide. While we're gearing up for the ETH merge, I can report that this time between the Bitcoin halving is the time to build. And we saw all the signs of it here at Korea Blockchain Week. This industry, these protocols, this movement is here to stay. Remember, sign up for a new OKX trading account using the link below and benefit from sign-up bonuses here, low trading fees, and strong liquidity. OKX, better future. Game on. Alright, after a long week in Korea, I'm boarding a plane to finally get home. I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Until then, trade well, my friends.